Today we're going to talk about VeChain. I'll give you guys an update on the breakout that I talked about on the 17th, because right now, since that retest, the market is up about 19% at today's high. So it has played out very, very nicely, but I'll show you guys what the market has to do to extend that rally and also some key levels I'm targeting, as well as an update on my trade that I took a few days ago. Now, if you guys do enjoy this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon for notifications, because I am releasing these videos every single weekday. And lastly, none of the content in this video or any video is financial advice, because it is just my opinion. All right, so with that said, let's take a look at VET against Tether. Now, this is the daily time frame, and this is the breakout that we talked about a few days ago. So on the 17th, I talked about this breakout right here. All right. Now, it hadn't occurred just yet in the last video, but it was something that I was eyeing, and I was waiting for that daily close above channel resistance to really confirm the breakout, and we got that here on the 19th. All right, now you can also see where VET did retest this area. Okay, now remember, these are areas, so it did come back here and retest this area on these two lows. So I was getting into this on a early entry that I mentioned on Twitter. So if you guys follow me on Twitter, you'll remember this, where we had this short-term level down here, all right, right around 4.7 cents. All right, so it served as resistance back here, resistance once again, and then support. Now, there was an intraday breakout here that I did play. So off of these highs up here, and I mentioned this too in the members Discord. So there was a breakout right here that I played. So this candle broke this resistance area, and this was very much an early entry to get in before that bigger breakout of channel resistance. So I do this a lot where I scale into a position, and this was my first entry. The second entry was the daily close on the 19th, all right, above channel resistance. So once the market closed here, the breakout was confirmed, and then I was entering down here on this rotation lower. All right, so my average was right through this area here, and sure enough, we've gotten a nice rally since then. Now, from this retest down here, the market is up. VeChain is up about 19%. So it has been a very nice rally so far, but let's look at the charts and see if this rally is over or if the market has more room to run. So the very first thing we have to talk about is the fact that today has not closed yet. And that may be obvious, but it is an important factor when we look at this chart, because this level right here, right around 5.6 cents, all right, has been a pivot for VeChain here over the past few months. You can see where the market has treated this area as both support and resistance. So with the market above it right now, it is serving as intraday support. Okay, but here's the thing, just like this breakout back here, the way that I trade at least, I need to see that daily close above this level to really flip it to support. All right, so once we get that daily close above this level, whether it's today or tomorrow, this level down here should flip to support, okay? Now, I'm still in my long position, so if we do get that, then I will look to add a little bit more, right around 5.6 cents on a retest as new support. Now, as for resistance, we're looking for 6.2 cents up here, resistance, support before that. All right, so not a huge level, but I do expect sellers to come out and try to defend this area on the way up. Now, the much bigger level here, and I talked about this the other day, that is the trend line off of the 2018 low. All right, from late 2018, you can see where back here in, I believe this was August. Yep. So back here in August of 2018, this trend line had served as resistance throughout the entire bear market for cryptos. So once VET got above this level, retested as new support right here, you can see that it went absolutely parabolic. Now, the market is trading below it because it did close back below this level in January. Okay, so this level is going to be critical resistance on the way up. And I do think that the significance of this level offers almost like a magnet for this market, where it's going to want to test this potentially here over the coming weeks. Now, at the moment, all right, depending on when VET tests this area, if it does at all, this area comes in anywhere from really 7.5 cents all the way up to 8 cents. So if it does retest this area sometime in April, we're looking at somewhere between 7.5 to 8 cents, which is still considerably higher from today's price. So if we do see that retest, you're talking about another potentially 30% from today's price. So still a lot of room to run, but again, today's close is going to be significant here with regard to that area right around 0.056. Okay, we need to see that daily close into 8 p.m. Eastern above this level right here to flip it to support and then also expose this level up here right around 0.062. So obviously if the market can't clear that level today and we do get the daily close back below 0.056, this area right here, then it is going to stay intact as resistance. Now let's take a look at the VetBTC chart. All right, so this is something that I mentioned before. In fact, for the past few weeks, we've been talking about this area down here, right around 100 sats, maybe just above it. That would be a key level for this market. So you can see it was resistance back here, support through this area, and then a pivot right through here. So the market came right into this area before we got the bounce. Now, at the moment, you can see where the market is starting to break out, but it's also over the past few years been forming this uptrend. All right, so we know that any kind of buys down here are technically with the macro trend. So when we consider that, and then drill down into the daily time frame, you can see where the market has broken out from a short-term level. And I mentioned this on Twitter as well a couple of times here over the past week, where the market, VET against Bitcoin did break out from this trend line right here on this candle. Now, the next logical spot for this market to go was the top of this smaller channel, okay, right up here around 140 sats, which you can see that so far today, it is pretty much spot on, okay? Just below it, but again, these are areas, they're usually not exact prices, okay? So at the moment, VetBTC is coming into a little bit of resistance today. So we have to keep that in mind too when we look at the VET chart, against USDT. And so it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. Do we get a rotation lower, okay, first before we come up here and retest this area again? Do we get a pullback all the way back here to support? Or does the market just break out here? And again, this is just all about playing the levels, guys. We don't know where the market's going to go, but I do think that it is starting to at least come into some resistance. Now, obviously, when the market does finally get above this level, again, on a daily closing basis, then the next area is quite a ways away because this is basically one massive, potential bull flag for the VetBTC chart. So if we see this market get above this resistance area up here, right around 140 sats on a daily closing basis, all right, the next area of resistance is going to be up here. Now, obviously, there's going to be other key levels along the way. Like we can see through here, there's a little bit of a pivot, somewhere between 160 all the way down to like 150 sats. So this area through here is also going to be key on the way up. But I do think if we get that break above 140 sats, then over the next few weeks, the next logical target, okay, long-term target for this market is up around 180 sats, which is the top of that larger channel. So overall, even though the market is coming into some resistance today, the overall look of this chart is still quite bullish, okay? Now let's move on to the VET Ethereum chart, which I really love. And we're gonna start with the weekly time frame. All right, so this is something we've talked about now at length over the past few weeks, where VET against Ethereum has formed this massive broadening wedge pattern over the past few years. Now, the market recently came into this support area down here, and we talked about this in the last video. So right now, with the market breaking out, it does appear that VET has put in a bottom against Ethereum. All right, now, one other thing that I do want to talk about today with regard to this chart is going to be the MACD. All right, so the MACD here on the weekly chart, I don't typically look at indicators, but on the weekly chart, the MACD here has been impeccable. Every single time we get a crossover here on the weekly MACD, the market takes off. All right, now at the moment, we are starting to get a little bit of a crossover here. We talked about this last time as well, but every single time the weekly MACD crosses over, VET outperforms Ethereum, and not just by a little bit, but we get a parabolic move from VeChain against Ethereum. All right, so looking at the MACD here, it's very hard to see, but if we move in, you can see where this market is starting to cross over, okay? So last week was the first green bar on the weekly MACD histogram. This is the first green bar since all the way back here when VET went parabolic against Ethereum. Now, at the same time, we're also getting a crossover here on the MACD. So notice that back here, it came very, very close to crossing over, but not quite. Okay, this was not a confirmed crossover. Here we have a confirmed crossover. All right, so we are starting to get that separation in the MACD. We have those first green weekly bars on the histogram. And also the price is also starting to break out. All right, because I never just look at an indicator by itself. We have to have complementary price action as well. So looking here, all right, I'm going to hide the MACD for now. So looking here at the daily time frame, you can see that the market has broken out so far this week. And I also talked about this on Twitter. So at the moment, it is breaking out and moving toward that first area of resistance, right up here. So you can see that this has kind of been a pivot here for the market. And so I do expect sellers to try to defend that area. Now, get above that on the daily time frame, and I think we're looking at a move up here toward the top of this channel, which would be a considerable move for VET against Ethereum, because from the current price all the way up here toward the top of this channel, you're talking about a move of potentially over 20%, or right around 20% to be on the safe side. But either way, a 20% move is still nothing to sneeze at. So look, I think that it's going to take a close above this horizontal level right here. Do that, I think we're looking at a move up there toward the top of that channel. And obviously, if VET against Ethereum can then break out above that channel, then we are looking at the possibility, okay, of at least another very aggressive rally from VeChain against Ethereum. Now, there's no guarantee, okay, there's never any guarantees, but there's no guarantee that a breakout here, either from this level down here or channel resistance, is going to produce a move all the way up here. Okay, because charts do not tell the future, right? We can't simply look at this pattern and say, well, because of what it's done in the past, it's guaranteed to happen again. We do not know where this market is going to go. But we can safely assume that if the market does clear this descending channel here over the coming weeks, all right, right up here and get above this, that we are looking at a potentially considerable move higher from VET against Ethereum. Again, it's likely to happen, but we don't know for sure if it will. So as of right now, I do think that this market, just like VetBTC, does look pretty constructive here. It has broken out from this level right here that was serving as resistance. The next area is going to be right through here. Get above that. We're looking at a 20% move at least up here toward the top of this channel. All right, but going back to the VET chart, so VET against Tether, again, I think that it's going to take a daily close above that 5.6 cent area today to really flip this area to support. All right, so you have to be a little bit careful until then. This is cryptos. We know anything can happen here over the next 6 hours until the daily close. But if it does close above this level, it should flip it to support. And we could then be looking at a move up there toward that area right around 6.2 cents. Just keep in mind, we all know that VET tends to follow Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is coming into that $44,000 to $46,000 resistance area. So you're going to have to pay attention to Bitcoin as well and really see what's going on in the rest of the market before you do trade VET or any other crypto. All right, so that's it for today. I hope you found the content helpful. If you did, be sure to smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon for notifications. And I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.